Right, well, good morning. Welcome back to another mussel fishing film. We're shore fishing again today. It's middle of January and we're going to try for some dabs, some flounders and maybe some plaice. We're at Pevensey Bay. We're going to fire out some small baits, some lugworm baits, maybe a little bit of ragworm on some small hooks, lob it as far as we can and see what we can do. We've got about 4 or 5 hours. We're mostly going to be fishing the ebb today because 2 o'clock's high tide. And now it's probably about 11:45, so a couple of hours of the flood, slack water, we'll fish it down for a few hours and then we'll head off to the gym. But we've got a few hours to kill, so what better way to spend it than a little bit of time fishing on the shore. I'll set my bits up, I'll show you what we're doing a bit later on and see how we get on. Right, well, I've just sat down to do a little bit of spiel about Pevensey for you and tell you a little bit about how we're fishing, and we just got a little bite. Both rods are just on 2 hook flappers today, and all that means is a weight at the bottom, 2 little booms with a hook on the end, and a little swivel on the top which attaches to your quick link. Super simple fishing, the sort of fishing everyone can do and enjoy. But yeah, when the sun is like this and the wind is down and we know there's a few fish out there, we've got to come down and have a give it a go. I'll show you the rigs a bit later on when we wind in. But yeah, we're just using a bit of frozen lugworm to give it a go. Big spring tides today, so hopefully the fish will be in the mood for feeding. Quite important when you're beach fishing to sort of change the baits every 20 minutes and check your bait. Because sometimes the flatfish will come along, they'll sit on your bait, they'll eat your bait, but they won't pull away, so you won't actually get an indication that there's anything there. But we did have an indication on the orange rod there that there's a bite, and I think it's still there. We'll leave it to develop a little bit and see what we can do. So we had a bite on that orange one, so we're just going to go and check it and see if there's a fish on. Time to change the bait anyway. Well, it's not what we're after at all. It's the world's smallest pin whiting. Look at that. Tiny, tiny little fig. Perfectly hooked though, as always. Funny little thing. At least it's not a blank. So we just caught that whiting. Not an exciting fish, but it's a fish all the same. One tip, if you like, when using your grip weights, to get them to sort of hold a little bit and grip a bit better, if you bend them in slightly and then pop them into place, so just bend them in just a little bit, pull them in a bit and then clip them, it sort of hugs them tighter to that lead weight and they're less prone to popping open. As I say, the rigs earlier, they're just little paternosters, just with a small little bit of a bait on there, and yeah, we're just chucking it as far as we can go. Let's cast that one out again and see what we can get. Well, that didn't disturb us or anything. So those lorries there are paid multi-millions of pounds to move thousands, hundreds of thousands of tons of shingle from up there, and they bring it all the way down here and they dump it. You get a lot of shore drift here and it just picks up the shingle and just moves it along, and they're just constantly picking up shingle, moving it to replenish the beaches up at Sovereign Harbour. Until they put proper groins in, it's going to be a reoccurring thing every year. Every storm, it just gets taken away and they've got to do it again. But I suppose the cheaper option is to pay the delivery fee of the big trucks. Yeah, I wonder if they'll ever put the permanent solution in, which is better improved groins down at Pevensey, but I don't know if that would properly solve it, but I'd assume it'd help. We just had a really big rattle on that orange rod, giving it quite a while. We're just going to strike into it and see what's there. Probably nothing, but we've got a nice fresh rig now to go on. So we'll wind that one in. We'll see if there's a fish on it. So it was a really good rattle, it's a whiting rattle. But we've got a nice fresh rig to go on. Just baited up with really small little bits of lugworm. You know, nothing big. Just small baits and small hook today to see what we can produce. Let's have a look. I think there might be a small fish on. Yeah, I'd say there's a small one on here. There's a bit more resistance than there usually is when you're just winding in the weight. Yeah, there's a bit of kicking back there. We've got a fish on here. Oh yeah, it's digging a bit. I stick with a constant wind. Yeah, there's something on here. Constant wind, and just very gently keep on the pressure. Try and keep it off the seabed so it doesn't get knocked off. But we have got a fish on here. See what it is. Oh, classy, there we go. So I said there was a fish on there. It's the first Plaice of the session. Very, very small one. Only the size of about my hand. So yeah, I thought that was a whiting bite, but yeah, that Plaice was being a bit greedy there. I'll go and unhook that one and we'll get it back. Fish number 2. Just a nice little Plaice that we've just unhooked. Lovely orange spots. Yeah, beautiful little fish. We'll go and pop that one back. Just making up some fresh rigs. Because the rigs I've got on I've actually used for about 3 or 4 sessions in a row now. So we're just using these really good offset Ultra Zs from Limitless hooks. They're what size 1/0s, but because they're slightly offset, they've got a nice short shank. They actually do catch a lot of small fish. There they are, just there. Really lovely, small, short shank, offset hook, and a little barb. So that's what I'll be tying onto my rig. Nice fresh rig, and we'll get that out there and see if we can convert some of these bites into more fish. It's a beautiful day to be out today. Lovely sunshine, not too much wind here. Pretty flat seas, inshore anyway. Yeah, it's nice. That orange rod has been going for a while, but I keep striking them. There we go, you can see it just there going off. I do keep striking it and we don't seem to be getting anything, but that one seems to be, I think that fish is attached there. It certainly had a few more goes for a more consistent amount of time than the others. Mad really. I'm pretty sure they're pin whiting and they're just playing with it. So we really are going to have to let these bites develop. Yeah, until it's just going like crazy. They're annoying me now, these whiting. Well, as expected, I was saying they were pin whiting. No indication on that one. We're winding it in. Felt there was a fish on. And there we go, that's a pin whiting. They're called pins when they're really small. So a pin whiting, yeah, is just a small whiting. So that's what's hammering our baits at the moment and causing us a few problems. But I've just cut up a little bit of mackerel just to tip off the end, just to see if we can just pick out something else out there. Oh well, it's a fish, not a blank. So we've had 2 whiting and a plaice so far. Now what I'm doing to be efficient is baiting up another rig ready to go, and we've got a swivel on the top, and all we do is clip that onto our link on my main rod and we just smash it back out there. Saves a bit of time, means that we've always got a baited rig ready to cast out. The ebb tide fish is better here, so we got about another 3 or 4 hours. Hopefully as the tide starts to ebb, so it starts to push out and go towards the west, fingers crossed we'll get a couple more fish. So we've got a couple of bites up there. You're going to have to excuse the noise from behind me. We've got the diggers coming back again. We've got a bite on the yellow rod and the orange and the white one. They're big buggers, that's for sure. As I say, they're up, down all day long. As I did promise, I said I'd let them bites develop a little bit. It's just gone on again though. So at the moment, we're at slack water, which is where the tide isn't really doing anything. It's not going west, it's not going east. It's just on the turn. It's not really doing anything. There's no flow in the water. Now that's actually quite a good bite there. I had a guy compliment me on my casting earlier. He said, "Do you get quite a long way with a fixed spool?" And I don't think I do. I mean, I really don't think I'm a that good caster. But maybe I am getting further than I think, but I'm not so sure. But it was nice of him to say that. What a lovely, beautiful day. Really, really stunning day out here today. I call these sort of days where you come and just do a few hours a sort of a head clearing day, you know? You know, there's no stress of catching. You're not coming out to film an incredible video. You're just coming out with a few hours, score a lugworm and just seeing what there is. I'll leave that one to develop a little bit. I did tip it with mackerel, just to see if it would make any difference, but you know, we might get a dogfish, or maybe, well, there's a few things we could get when tipping it off with a fish bait, but there's a lot of things I don't think we will get. We'll wait and see. I've left that to develop a few minutes. It keeps going, so we'll go and strike it and have a look what it might be. Probably nothing on there, but we'll check it out. I don't think there's a fish on here, but you never know. But yeah, there is a fish on here. There is a fish on here, actually. Trying to keep the rod tip high to keep it off the bar, because it knocks the fish off really easily. And a different species this time as well. What we've managed to get ourselves is a dab. A very small dab, but it's another species. It's the third species of the day. Now, dab are very rough. I'm going to put that to the camera and see if you can hear it. You might have been able to hear it. It's like sandpaper. Very beautiful fish. They don't grow very big. If you get if you get a dab sort of over a pound, you're doing really well, but it's a nice little fish, isn't it, for a day, just out of the blue, see what we can get. Just taken on those little Ultra Z's. We'll get him back. there it goes. I hate to say it, but I think we lost a better fish there. I think there was a double shot, but another dab, beautiful winter dab. So not big, they're only sort of hand size, but beautiful fish all the same. Look at that, beautiful. They're almost opaque, they're almost see-through. You can see there, you almost see through them. Yeah, we'll get that one unhooked and get it back, but another fish. We've actually got a really nice bite on the slightly smaller rod there, but what I'm wondering is we might leave it to develop, and I'm going to check the other rod and let that one just carry on rattling for a while, because the other one had some rattles and then it stopped. And it's been out there for quite a while. It's probably about time it's got a bait change, and I've got a fresh rig there which I can just clip on. So let's wind in the orange one, we'll let the other rod develop and see if we got a fish on the end, which is just lucky, although that rod is constantly going now. I'll turn you around so you can see it. So the left rod there, the white tip, that's had the most knocks, but it hasn't been out for very long. We've only really just cast that. Typical, as soon as the GoPro gets turned on and we point a camera towards the end of a rod tip, obviously we won't get it on camera. Very much a whiting bite, unfortunately, but we'll see. I've been proved wrong today with the bite, so you never know. Yeah, I think there's a little fish on there. I do think we've got a fish on. Crossed over the other line, not ideal. There's a fish on there though. As I said, it was a very aggressive pin whiting bite, and yeah, another whiting. Right, so the quality of the film isn't going to be so great from now onwards, I'm afraid. Quite simply because I forgot to clear out my memory card yesterday. So, foolish error, but I haven't got a very big memory card for that new camera yet. I need to buy one, and it's now full. So, yes, we are now on GoPro only, but that's okay because we're still in pretty good quality. It's just the sound quality is not going to be quite as good, and I won't be able to do any close-ups for you, but we'll be all right. We've got another bite on that smaller rod now, so I'm going to set the tripod up for the GoPro and see if we can show you some more fish on this ebbing tide. It's ebbing out nicely now. You'll see here all the water was full all along here a minute not long ago. You would have seen in the video, and now it's pushing out. The one thing when the tide's ebbing, you've got to keep winding in every 20 minutes and casting out further, otherwise if you think about it, your bait is getting nearer and nearer the shore as the tide goes out. So just bear that one in mind, especially on a shallow beach, which here at Pevensey, very, very shallow, probably only 9 to 10 foot out, even 400 or 500 yards, it's probably still only about maximum 9-10 foot. So it is a shallow, sandy beach, this one. So you have got to keep pelting out the the rods as far as you can on a calm day like this, at least. If it was rough, I'll be having them in near for bass, but we're not doing that today. Right, let's go and investigate that other rod and see what it is. Well, as I said, we had a bite on this white rod, so we're going to wind it in and see if there's anything on there. There's actually a bite on the orange one as well now. Still going to check this one though, because I say we did have some bites earlier. Yeah, fish on. What we got then? No. Just a tiny pin whiting. I thought that was bigger, to be honest. It was certainly showing itself a little bit more, but there you go. Just another tiny little whiting. It's amazing that even in the water they do put up a little bit of a fight. Well, they at least sort of, not a fight, but you know what I mean. Right, let's get another rig clipped on, cast it out, then check that one. It's going to be a busy few hours, I think. I'm loving this shore fishing recently. Absolutely loving it. Little gear, a few bits of bait, and just casting out. I love it. Absolutely love it. I won't be saying that when it's freezing cold and we're not getting any bites, but at the moment we are, so we'll make use of it while we can. So the nearest rod to us, guys, I just had a really good tug down. So we're going to strike into it and see if we can get another fish. Yeah, fish on. Certainly not a big fish if it is one. But yeah, there's definitely a fish on there. I just think it's going to be another pin whiting, I'm afraid. Feels a bit heavier, but I don't want to say anything. Oh, caught in. There we go. I didn't think it was a pin. There was a bit more of a weight to it, and I thought this isn't a pin whiting. And with a flatfish, if it carts in the tide a little bit when it comes close, it's usually a flatfish. They'll sort of go left or right. And there we go, another really beautiful dab. They're all small, but that is the average stamp of size fish, really, for dabs. They're really not that big. I had a lovely one last year on the boat out of Eastbourne, on my polycraft, you know, just close in. That was about £1, beautiful fish. But yeah, quite small, but I am not complaining. I'm in a hoodie and a light trousers, and it's, yeah, mid-January, so absolutely buzzing. Beautiful, beautiful dab. Look at the markings on that. Stunning. Get that one unhooked, get another rig clipped on, get back out there. There he is, got to try and time this correctly. Ready? Oh! There he goes. Yeah, he's gone. Always take a moment to make sure your fish get out, because sometimes a wave can kick them on the beach, and then you end up killing them because you don't see it. So always make sure they go out, wait a couple of waves, and check the beach line. If it's clear, the fish is gone. Excellent. So I'll try and put all my fish back, really. I only really keep a few pollock and cod and mackerel and stuff like that when I'm on the boat, but when I'm shore fishing, everything goes back, really. So we got another bite on the white tipped rod there, on the further rod. So quite a few little lunges, so I think we'll give it a strike and see what's there. What are we going to have here then? I think it's going to be another flatfish. It's putting up a little bit of a lunge. Might be one of our bigger fishes so far. Ooh, what have we got here? Hey. Well, as expected, another flatfish. As I said, when I was winding it in, it felt a bit heavier. It put up a few little lunges. Dabs do actually fight a bit harder. If you're on lighter gear, they're quite good fun. So if you ever get boat fishing for them, or you can fish with light gear, then great, but can't fish with light gear here because you've got to get a distance and you've got a bit of strong tide. But another dab. It's probably one of the bigger ones of the session, but yeah, another fish. Just shows using real small paternosters, flapper rigs with a tiny bit of lugworm, small hooks, working beautifully. I mean, the baits, look, they're just real small baits. They're not big, just little limitless chinoos. Or we got the ultra, the offset ultra Z's. Right, let's get that dab back. All gone back safely. Yeah, the bites are very consistent now. So as soon as that ebb tide started, the bites have sort of turned on a bit more. It's certainly not been a slow session, even on the flood. You know, we were getting fish, but yeah, we're getting quite a few more fish now. So yeah, it's good. It's about 2:15, I think. So I've got a few hours still to go. There he goes. Yeah, I think there's a small fish on there. Yeah, definitely a fish on here. Definitely a fish on. Until it's here, in sight, we don't know. There we go, it's kicking up a little bit now. I'm gonna say a dab. Feels like a good, decent something. We've got the 6 diggers coming past us in a minute, so you'll have to put up with the noise. Not a flatfish. Another species, guys. Another species. It's called a rockling. And that's a rockling there. Yeah, they're a shore rockling, or also known as a slug. I'll wait till these diggers go past to tell you a bit more. Right, there we go, a little bit quieter. So the shore rockling, very much a winter species. They've got a couple of barbules on their nose there, as you can see. Yeah, pity we haven't got a someone who could take a little photo of that. Hopefully we'll get a nice little screen grab from the GoPro. But another species, so we've had dab, plaice, whiting, and shore rockling. Slip that one back. And off it goes safely. Loving this session. You'll have to excuse me eating my cheese twirls. I didn't bring much food. I was just thinking the bite to slow down. I had a lovely conversation with some of the some walkers there about cameras and bits and bobs. And both rods have just had a little tap. The orange one, we've got something sitting on it now. I'll try and zoom in. It's not very clear on the GoPro when you zoom in on the edit, but you might be able to see it moving here and there. Oh, just might have popped off. Yeah, that one must have popped off on that. There's a bank where it drops with some shingle, and it was sort of coming in all right, and it popped off. Get that one rebait, recast quickly. We haven't got too long left. Right, cross your fingers, cross your toes. This is the last rod to bring in, and I really do need to bring it in. So we're going to strike into it. I don't think there's going to be a fish on, but you never know. Well, thank you for watching the video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, please ask. If you got this far, subscribe to the channel, and have a great week as well. Cheers.